Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. And look, I know what you guys are all thinking. A second night in a row for Skap Live After Dark. Don't burn yourself out here, Skap. It's only night 2 of the 2025-2026 NBA season. But guys, I just can't help myself. I am so excited to have the NBA back, even a depreciated product, which it's been now for, about 10 to 15 years. But still, I am, there's excitement in the air. I personally am very intrigued with the storylines percolating around this early part of the NBA season. I think that we're in as good of a footing now in the NBA as we have been in literal years, maybe a decade. Really, I humbly believe that the last portion of the NBA golden age ended when Kobe Bryant dropped the microphone and retired from the NBA. But really, it started whenever Kobe ruptured his Achilles and LeBron James unofficially took over the NBA. The league has been in a sheer and utter decline ever since that. But we are moving on, guys. We are onward and upward. I think that the remnant era that was really centered around LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry, it's over. It's in the rear view. And I like where we're heading right now. I like the outlook. I like these teams. I like these players. And I just feel pretty excited and relieved to be moving in that different direction. And damn it, I just want to talk some NBA with you guys. It is night 2. There are lots of takeaways. It was a huge night. There were a lot of games, a lot of teams in action. I believe 12 games in total tonight. So a lot going on. But to me, the primary takeaway that I want to begin with, and we can go and, I'll be monitoring these comments. I'll see in what direction you guys might want to take it. I see a lot of Wembanyama commentary. I will get to the freak alien mutant Victor Wembanyama in due time and in quick order. He was an absolute monster. But I want to begin with just a budding train wreck. I know I don't want to overreact. It is only night 1 for some of these teams. It's game 1 of 82. But the LA Clippers humiliated themselves tonight. It was a sheer and utter disgrace. After a summer where they made some big splashes, they did the Bradley Beal thing. They signed, they poached some players in the open market. 95-year-old Chris Paul ends up there in what looks to be potentially his final run. They take Lopez off of the Bucks. So, the Clippers were an intriguing team to some, to many, you could say, a bit of a dark horse in the Western Conference. And the caveat being if they can stay healthy. If. Well, it is game 1, and they are all playing right now. They are all healthy. They were, had a scandalous offseason as well, in addition to those basketball acquisitions and additions they were making. The scandal erupted surrounding their owner, president, and Kawhi Leonard, and some salary cap circumvention that may or may not have been going on. The NBA league has been investigating. It forced Adam Silver to come out and make comments on it throughout the summer. And the investigation for all that I know is still ongoing. And around all of it, they come out tonight, albeit on the road in Utah, but against a Utah team that is not suspected to compete this year for a playoff spot. And they were the second biggest favorites on the night tonight, minus 9.5, laying 9.5 in Utah. And they got absolutely run off of the court tonight, 129 to 108, in a game that, quite frankly, wasn't even that close, because the Clippers kind of picked up some points. They were +7 in the fourth quarter in sheer and utter garbage time. They got eviscerated in the first quarter of this game, 43 to 19. Thanks for nothing, LA. Thanks for showing up, guys, because of course they didn't. 43-19, a team that's allegedly going to be very good defensively this season got just lit on fire in the first quarter. They lose the second quarter too and give up 35 in the second. Just unbelievable. And Kawhi Leonard, the guy, spearheading all of the controversy in the offseason, shows up. I mean, the guy who barely plays, he played like half of the games that he's been eligible for in the last, like 6 to 7 seasons. He's only about a 60% of the time player for his entire NBA career. A guy who many think is as good as anybody ever when he's actually on the court and playing. Didn't look that way tonight. 29 minutes, 3 of 9 shooting, just 10 points, and a game worst minus 25. So outscored the Clippers were by 25 points in the 29 minutes that Kawhi Leonard was on the floor. Thanks for nothing, Kawhi. And it's not like he was alone in the ass department tonight. Joining him was like every single Clipper teammate. Ivan Zubac, I always massacre this guy's name. I like him as an All-NBA selected player this year. He's the only one that had a moderately decent output, 19 points, 9 of 13 from the field, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for him. But all told, it was just a brutal game one performance for the LA Clippers. Just absolutely humiliating. I would be embarrassed if I was every single one of those players. They just absolutely systematically no-showed. And, you would think that hopefully there will be better nights than this. Again, much is expected from this LA Clippers team, and there ain't going to be a lot of off nights in the Western Conference this year. That is a deep, compelling conference. It goes about 10 to 11 strong, and Utah, like I said, not suspected to be one of those 10 to 11 strong teams. So to get massacred by 20, more than 20 really, on their opener, as nearly a double-digit favorite. Not a good sign of things to come for the LA Clippers, and definitely not for Kawhi Leonard, who, again, a game worst minus 25, and he only played in 29 minutes. So I don't want to spend too much time on that absolute train wreck. And moving on from one of the worst performances of the night in Kawhi Leonard to, I gotta say, probably the best performance of the night. A lot of you guys are commenting on it as such. Victor Wembanyama is absolutely insane. I think we've seen that this kid has an elite ceiling. Really, the big question with him is, can he stay healthy? There was some chatter in the offseason about him still growing. Some speculation that he was 7'7" now. So really, to me, again, the concerns is just for his health. He had to deactivate last year after just 46 games played with deep vein thrombosis. He entered the league with some lower extremity concerns, some foot issues. And I mean, it is what it is with guys that reach that height and that size. It's just it's hard to imagine that their bodies can withstand the amount of pressure and force of pounding up and down the court. Now he is very slender, so he's not carrying that much weight. But when he is right and he is on the court, he is absolutely elite. If he didn't have to shut it down last year, I think he likely would have been second team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense, and the Defensive Player of the Year award. The sky is even higher this year, specifically from what I've seen from this game one performance out of him and out of the Spurs. They looked incredible tonight as underdogs on the road against a Dallas team that many people like as dark horse contenders in the Western Conference. Victor Wembanyama looks like he's going to ascend to first team defense and the Defensive Player of the Year. It's just unbelievable. His game tonight, 15 of 21 from the field tonight. Only 30 minutes of play time, 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks, and chew on this for a second here. In 30 minutes, plus 31. So the Spurs outscored the Mavericks by 31 points in the mere 30 minutes that this guy played. Just an incredible performance by him. Really, a really remarkable defensive team performance by the San Antonio Spurs. Shout out to moderator Gary, who will be joining us obviously sometime this season. He's busy at work doing stuff on his channel. So shout out to him, but shout out to his Spurs, who again didn't do anything rash this offseason, didn't leverage their future and go out and try to hunt KD or some other flashy summer acquisition. And they look like a really good team if, again, big if, they can stay healthy. Stephon Castle, everyone's going to talk about Victor Wembanyama. He is probably going to be an MVP consideration if he can play like 70 games, and the Spurs are going to be like a upper 6 seed. But Stephon Castle was also a beast tonight defensively. He looks like just a lockdown guy on the perimeter. So the Spurs look to be an absolute contender themselves. And again, this ridiculous, stacked, wide open Western Conference, which coming into tonight, many anticipated would include the Dallas Mavericks. And look, Dallas did not look good tonight. Let's not sugarcoat it. Cooper Flagg, who I'm very high on this season, and I'm very high on for the outlook of his career. He was not good tonight. It was not a good night for Cooper Flagg. He ends the night with a double-double, just 10 points, 10 rebounds, though. And he had 1 steal, and really that was just about everything. He had, no assists, and they ran him out at point in the first half. It looked awful. That's clearly not the answer. I think, look, they probably have to start D'Angelo Russell, I would think, at point guard moving forward until Kyrie Irving is ready to be reinserted into this lineup. Cooper Flagg does not look like he's ready to run any kind of an offense. I still do believe he can be an elite scorer already at this stage. He should only be a freshman in college this year. He graduated high school in just 3 years. But still, he's not ready to facilitate the offense and get his own at this point. It looked really bad in the first half. He went scoreless in the first half. He got 10 in the second half, but a minus 29 tonight for him in only 32 minutes. There will be better nights for him and better nights for the Dallas Mavericks, but they got to be better. AD has to be better. Anthony Davis, down night for him, 22 points on just 7 of 22 shooting for him, minus 24. They weren't very good with him on the floor either. They looked out of sync on offense. Some of that could be that they were playing an extremely good defensive team in San Antonio. But, Dallas, they need to sort out the old point guard position, and they need to do it relatively quickly if they don't want to fall too far behind. You don't want to be a play-in team in this Western Conference, because if you're in the play-in, that guarantees you're playing either the Oklahoma City Thunder or likely the Denver Nuggets or Houston Rockets, in my opinion. That will be a quick series and a quick out for whichever of the 2 of the 4 play-in teams that advance into that first round. So that's not something Dallas wants to do. They have to try to tread water here until the return of Kyrie Irving. Who knows exactly when that is going to be. But Victor Wembanyama, again, big takeaway from night 2 here of the NBA's young season. He is an absolute stud, it looks like. Speaking of studs, same as it ever was, Giannis Antetokounmpo just continues, I think, this season what is going to be a historical onslaught on the NBA. I don't think people appreciate this guy enough. Giannis Antetokounmpo is doing legendary things, historical type things, and it just seems as if he's going to do it again. I mean, this guy gets out of bed every single season, just rolls out of bed every night from a nightly basis for like 6-7 years now and counting, and drops, around 30, 12, and 5. Tonight in the opener, Milwaukee beats the Washington Wizards. No surprise there. They were the biggest favorite of the night. I mentioned the Clippers were minus 9.5. They were the second biggest favorite to these Milwaukee Bucks, who were minus 10.5, playing at home against a dreadful Wizards team. Bucks take care of business, 133-120. They actually covered their line, unlike the ass Clippers, who got dusted in Utah by over 20. And of course, Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way. He only needed 27 minutes of time to do it. 37 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists on 16 of 26 shooting from the field. The guy is efficient. He's a smooth, seamless kind of a scorer. He's just an absolute stud. Anybody that knows me, knows my content, knows my brand, or whatever you want to call it, knows how highly I think of Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, he's right up there. I think Nikola Jokic is clearing away the best player in the league. But if there is a name that you're going to mention along with him, the guy that I put right below him, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. So nothing out of the ordinary from him tonight. Just a ho-hum, 37, 14, and 5. Great performance by him. I was keeping an eye when I came on. The game was not final yet. So I just want to check up on it. The Minnesota Timberwolves do come back and win their game. They were down much of the night to Portland, the young upstart Trailblazers. They actually were pushing the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were up much of the night. I was keeping my eye on that game throughout the night. The Timberwolves end up having a big fourth quarter, 30-19 in the fourth, to end up pulling out the victory, 118-114. And Anthony Edwards, the Ant-Man, starting a big season, I think, for him. This is like a big kind of make it or break it season in my estimation. Anthony Edwards is routinely talked up. The guy hasn't even made a first-team All-NBA distinction yet. So I'm looking forward to him trying to break his way in to that kind of a threshold this season. Great start for him. 14-28 from the field tonight. 5 of 10 from the three-point line. He, remember, led the NBA in three-point shooting last year. Made all 8 of his free throws. 41 points for him tonight. 7 rebounds. Only the 1 dime. But a very, very stellar performance by the Ant-Man tonight. And in the come-from-behind victory that he helped author for his Minnesota Timberwolves. And guys, like I said, it was a robust night tonight in the NBA. I would be remiss to not mention Joel Embiid was back tonight, guys. I hope you didn't miss his performance. What another one for the ages for him. Joel Embiid returns after, he shut it down. I think he missed the last 30 games last year. He played only 19 total. He's making like $60 million this year. He came in and was basically unplayable. He only played 20 minutes because they were just getting run when he was on the floor. It was hard to watch. He can't move at all. He can't defend. Looks like he can barely get his leg off the ground. I just don't know what they've done with his management with those knees. I don't know why they gave him the contract that they gave him when they gave it to him. 4 points tonight for him. 1 of 9 in only 20 minutes. 1 of 9 from the field. And he was a minus 16 in only 20 minutes. He put the Sixers, they can't win games with him. They can't compete with him on the floor, it looks like, the way he's playing right now. Luckily, they only played him 20 minutes. And the Sixers came back to somehow win that game. They were down all game long. They went at 117-116 behind. Tyrese Maxey had a 40 spot tonight. But the big news out of that game is VJ Edgecombe, the rookie, the third overall pick from Baylor. Oh, my God. Did anybody see what this kid did? I actually put a quick little video up on him. He was incredible tonight. He did something that we haven't seen in over a century. He's the first rookie to score at least 30 in his debut this century. He dropped 34 points, and his 14 points in the first quarter is the most ever by any rookie in their debut. He broke LeBron James's rookie record from over 20 years ago now at this point. And it is the most points scored by any rookie in their debut since, I believe, 1972. So VJ Edgecombe looks like he is undeniably NBA ready. He shot 26 times tonight, so the usage is going to be there. It looks like, I might have been wrong on the Cooper Flagg Rookie of the Year. I know it's only game one, and I know that Flagg was in hell against that San Antonio defense tonight. But VJ Edgecombe looks like he's going to have the usage. He looks like he's NBA ready. I mean, he's ripping threes. He's getting to the basket with ease. The kid looks like an absolute stud. And he had dropped 34 tonight, and Maxey again added 40. The two of them, that's a hellacious backcourt, and the Sixers are going to need it because they look absolutely dreadful with Joel Embiid on the floor, and I don't know how you take Embiid out or if you just don't play him. He's, again, making nearly $60 million, and he looks this bad right now, and he's 32 years old. The Sixers are on the hook for him, Embiid, till 2028, 2029. The 2029 season, they're going to be paying this guy through, and he's set to make $67.5 million that season in 2029. Like, the Sixers, who are drafting flawlessly as of late, looks like they're just not going to be able to get out from under the thumb of Joel Embiid. They might legitimately have to look at some kind of a stretch buyout provision for him, similar to what was done with Dame Lillard this summer. And I just don't know. How long are they actually going to be paying them? Okay, hang on. Saggy Bones, I see. Who's more us? The Clippers or Penn State? For those of you who can't see, I've got my little Penn State sign lit up behind me here. I was not repping Penn State for about 10 years because they had that bum fraud of a head coach, James Franklin, on the sidelines. He is what I've been referring to for at least 5 years now as the Mike Tomlin of college football. James Franklin, loser, bum. So like Mike Tomlin and his loser self has forced me, a Pittsburgh native, to not be a Steelers fan now for like 10 years. James Franklin did the same thing to me for my Penn State Nittany Lions. I am a Penn State alum. I went there. I graduated from Penn State. And I have not been rooting for them for years because Franklin is a loser and a fraud. And I just simply could not support my college because they were supporting losing, just like my football team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, are with Mike Tomlin. However, the Penn State Nittany Lions, my Lions again, finally got with it, fired bum ass James Franklin. So now I've got my Penn State sign lit back up. So to answer your question, this year, though, Penn State is most certainly more us than the LA Clippers. There's a lot of us flying around here, undeniably. So, sorry, I didn't want to get derailed on that Penn State question. I kind of lost my basketball train of thought here. We were talking assiness, though, obviously, with Joel Embiid. Just working my way through the association tonight. I'm kidding. I want to talk good things about the NBA. The Knicks, surprising winners tonight. They were at home, obviously, but they look good. They look better than I was expecting. I like the Cavaliers quite a bit this year. I liked them last year had they not accrued all those injuries at the most inopportune time in the postseason when they ran up against the Indiana Pacers. I kind of like the Cavs tonight to win this game. And the Knicks, the Cavs kind of got back in. They took the lead for a slight bit of this game, but primarily it was the Knicks from start to finish. They look good. They look deep. They got some good bench contributions, and the starting lineup looks stellar. I'm impressed with what I saw from the Knickerbockers tonight. Good opening from them. For any of you guys who have watched any of my preseason work, I was very high on the Orlando Magic this season. Not too enamored with the fact that it took them, a little bit. They strained themselves a bit more. They had to actually break a sweat in beating the Miami Heat, who I am not very high on this season. But they do ultimately get the victory. Orlando, Paolo Banchero, who I like to ascend to an all-NBA level this year, somewhere second or third team. And Franz Wagner, I like him to become an all-star this season. Both of them 24 points apiece. Desmond Bane, the newcomer, drops 23. They're looking pretty good. Tristan Da Silva with 16-point performance off the bench, and he was a strong plus 11 for them. Their bench in general really outperformed tonight. Miami's bench, that was kind of the thing that led the way for them outside of Paolo and Franz, who I think could become, maybe one of the best tandems in the entire NBA. Let me drop this little juicy nugget, if I may, this tidbit of stat on you guys. Last year, there were 185 players that were 23 years of age or younger that played a single minute in the NBA. And of the 185 players, 4 of them averaged a minimum of, it was like 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, something along that stat line. I'm massacring the stat, and I'm a stat guy. Anyway, 2 of the 4 guys that achieved that stat line were on the same team, the Orlando Magic. Of course, it was Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. They were just hurt. They missed a bunch of games last year, and it ultimately resulted in them, catching the 7 seed and a really inopportune time to play the Boston Celtics there, who got them before the Tatum injury. But when Banchero and Wagner returned for the last 18 games of the stretch run to end the season last year, they were on a 12-6 pace to close, which would, if you extrapolate that out for an 82-game season, would put them right around 55 games. And, they're going to be a year older and better, more mature. Hopefully, they can both stay healthy. They get a nice 125-121 win to start their season. So a nice little performance by them. I'm working my way through the association tonight. I just want to check. There was one more game in action when I came on. It was the Suns and the Kings. And look at the Suns get a surprise victory. I'm not expecting too much at all from the Phoenix Suns, but they look pretty good tonight. They get the win against the Kings at home, though the Kings I'm not expecting much out of them either this year. Like I said, it is going to be a pretty loaded Western Conference. These are 2 teams that are not expected to figure in or factor in much to that Western Conference outlook. They still do have a superstar there, though, in Devin Booker. He has 31 points tonight on 10 of 19. He shot 15 free throws tonight. Nonetheless, a nice start for Devin Booker in his debut tonight. Guys, welcome in to the Skap Live After Dark. Again, the second one now in 2 days to open the season. Welcome in to all of you guys. Let me just go ahead. Oh, I've got some super chats here. So let me just read some of these. We've got Will N, obviously a regular here in the lounge and the sponsor area. Let me read this question or comment. It's refreshing to see the Knicks bench actually getting utilized 11-man rotation. Yeah, that's right. The Knicks obviously made a coaching change in the summer, and they brought in Mike Brown, the journeyman, who's actually, I do believe, a 2-time coach of the year, even though he seems to get fired a good amount. But his tenure opens strongly. Good point that it is nice. It's nice to see them getting utilized, the bench, because they do have a solid bench. So I misread the Knicks. I kind of thought the East was going to go through the Cavaliers this year, at least tonight, because the 2 play, and the Knicks kind of handled that business pretty easily, despite a little run by the Cavaliers in like the late second and like a portion of the third. But primarily, the Knicks just handled their business. Again, they were at home, so I suppose that could have been expected. But the Cavaliers, they had multiple 10-game win streaks last year. They won 64 games. They had the second best net differential in the league last year. And the Knicks looked impressive to say the least tonight. So, Will, I gotta concur with you there. Oh, we've got John back in second night in a row. John Radcliffe, welcome to the party, pal. Let's see the question or comment from him. Jets are an aberration. Bruins think they're playing polo, and the Celtics are dog water. At least my Ohio State Buckeyes are godly levels of great. Really, John, now you're an Ohio State fan? That's the first I'm hearing of that. Is that because you see the Penn State? Is that because I talk Penn State, so you just got to rub salt in the wounds? Present to me a real Big Ten team that actually has had some success in the last 20 years or so. Yes, your Ohio State Buckeyes, if we're calling them that now. Yeah, they look pretty damn good. I think it's Ohio State and everybody else. I don't think really anybody has a chance to beat them come playoff time. So, yeah, it's going to be Ohio State again winning the championship. And we'll see what Penn State can do with their coaching situation. You know, I'm hearing, I don't like the names I'm hearing. I actually would like to steal Urban Myers if we can, but I don't know. I don't know that I see that being a realistic opportunity. I don't know that Penn State actually wants him, and I don't know why that is. Herb obviously got it done for your Buckeyes, and he got it done in Florida too. He could become the first coach in NCAA Division I history to win a natty in 3 different schools. I think that's obviously would be something that he would be interested in pursuing, and I think Penn State could be a good school to offer him that opportunity. It's got a great pipeline to recruitment. It's a blue blood, even though they really haven't won anything in years, decades, really, of note. So let's make it happen. It could be a marriage of convenience. Next in, we've got Saggy Bones. What's up, Saggy Bones? Welcome in to the Skap Live After Dark Lounge area. The waters, as always, are warm in here. Which teams not in the playoffs last year could make it this season? Great question, Saggy Bones. Let's take a look here. Well, first of all, I don't even need to take a look at the playoff standings from last year. I think the Spurs could make the playoffs for sure this year. I think, despite what I saw out of the Dallas Mavericks tonight, I think that the Dallas Mavericks might be able to make the playoffs as well. The Western Conference is just tough. It's going to be tough to navigate. You know, I like, just off the top of my head, I really like, again, the Clippers, notwithstanding with what I saw out of them tonight either. The Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets, obvious locks to me, all elite upper echelon teams. I think those are your top 3 best teams in the Western Conference this year. I think Golden State and the Clippers will be vying next somewhere in that 4-5 line. Probably the Minnesota Timberwolves as well to go along. Those 3 teams, I think, will be stacked pretty tightly in the 4-5-6 line. So, you know, that's 1 through 6 already. So any other team I name from this point on is going to be a play-in team. I think that's where you got the Lakers in there, the Spurs, the Mavericks. And 2 of those 3 teams are teams that I just listed off there that did not make the playoffs last season. So I really do. I think the Spurs, if they could stay healthy, I think they're definitely going to be a playoff team this year. Other than that, like, I don't know if you're going to see any newbies in the Western Conference. The Western Conference is pretty competitive. It's pretty set, I think. In the Eastern Conference, I mean, who knows? The Eastern Conference is so wide open. If, I don't know, Philadelphia, who knows? You know, I hated the way Joel Embiid looked tonight. They're going to have to do something with him. But again, the backcourt looks really good. Tyrese Maxey, I like him a lot. And Edgecombe looks NBA ready. So that is a compelling backcourt. You would think if Paul George comes back and is some semblance of health, if Joel Embiid can work into like a guy they could at least play at some point this season, you got to think Philadelphia is going to find a way to make the playoffs. I think Toronto and Detroit would be 2 other Well, Detroit was there. I think Toronto would be a team that I'm expecting. I'm expecting them to have a good year this year. It's not just because I love my main man, Darko Rajakovic, the head coach of the Raptors, but I think Toronto is gonna have a good year this season. I think they'll find their way somewhere into the playoff standings. So that's a team in the East I would be looking out for that can maybe do it that did not last year. But good, that's a good question, Saggy Bones, and I thank you for it. Next in, we've got John is back in. John is letting me know that he's been a Buckeye fan since he was 7 years old in the year of 2000. So, okay. All right. That's good. That's good to know, John. I won't bust you up too much then. And congratulations to your Buckeyes. At least from the listing of teams that you just rattled off that are your teams, it's just rough sledding for you at the pro level. So you got to just stick to college. Just stay with your Buckeyes and just go ahead and ride them as long as you can. They're going to win again this year. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. So kudos and congratulations. I obviously can't stand Ohio State being a Penn State grad, but whatever, to the victor go the spoils. So I tip the hat obviously to you. Next in, we've got Carlo in. What's up, brother? A rag. Yo, Skap, what's up? MJ is back. F Lobozo, LOL. Yes, Carlo, it's true. MJ is back. I actually, truth be told, was not enamored with what I saw from the Jordan appearance on NBC. I actually tried to do a video on that. I was having some technical difficulties. Guys, I've been traveling. I'm sure you can tell my background is not what it typically is. Who knows? I'm not very technologically savvy. I don't really know what's going on with some of the software and such that I use. Anyway, I've been having some issues with my acquisition of assets, and I was having trouble extracting the exact interview. I wanted to chop it up and talk about some of the elements of the Michael Jordan appearance on NBC. And since I could not deliver that video, I guess, Carlo, thank you. I will put that back up. I will, since you allowed me the platform here to discuss it, I will here. MJ, of course, has been teased by NBC for a couple months now that he would be returning. NBC, of course, hasn't had the rights to air NBA games in like 25 years, basically, just around the same gap of time that Michael Jordan has been away from the NBA. Essentially, when he left, NBC stopped broadcasting games. Of course, they famously had the NBA on NBC throughout the 90s and such. And, NBC is back now. And now they've been teasing that Jordan is also back. And of course, I've been salivating as a big Jordan guy. I love Michael Jordan. I'll defend his career to the ends of time. I think he is the GOAT. I'll say not a bad thing about him on the basketball court. And quite frankly, he's compelling to listen to no matter what he's talking about. So, I hang on everything he says, even if it's, not the most compelling stuff. Just to hear from GOAT Jordan is compelling in and of its own right. However, NBC, I believe, misled me and misled many of us. I was expecting Michael Jordan to be involved, like in the studio, be somewhat of an NBA analyst this year. Like, I want to see Jordan's takes on today's NBA. Like, I want to see his criticisms or praisings of players today. I want to see him talking about the product today. What's wrong with the league? Maybe what does he see ways that it should be different or that he could fix it? I thought he might be in studio once a week or something, might be maybe live during a halftime or something. Seemingly what we're going to get this year from NBC is Mike Tirico took a camera crew to Michael Jordan's house and sat down with him for like 2 or 3 hours conducted some kind of an interview, and now they're going to be splicing that interview up and dropping like 3 to 5 minutes of it during halftime of the games throughout the rest of the season. Like, that's not what I was expecting. That's not what I wanted. So hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully that's not what it's going to be. When I saw the 3.5 minute snippet on halftime last night, I was thinking to myself, yo, did I miss like the whole interview? Are they going to, in fact, be playing this interview sometime else tonight or somewhere else? Where can I find the rest of this interview? No, that's all they gave us. So, I'm hoping that there will be more from Michael Jordan, and he's going to be involved more moving forward. But it's not looking good based on what I saw last night. So I'm a little underwhelmed and a little disappointed with what I saw there. So, but he is back, and it's awesome to hear him talk. I was actually surprised to hear that he has not touched a ball really in years. But he's still as competitive as ever. He said he would still like to play now if he was physically capable of it. So we've got Traffic Jam in next. What's up, Traffic Jam? Welcome in to the Skap Live After Dark area, and thank you for sponsoring the show. I do appreciate you. Wemby is a freak of nature, MVP consideration. Absolutely. I think really the big question on Victor Wembanyama when he came in really was his health with a guy of that size and stature. And I think that is still the primary consideration, primary concern. He is still only 21 years of age, which is absolutely just ridiculous. He actually he appeared in 71 games in his rookie season, which is an impressive amount of games. I mean, Joel Embiid has never cleared 68 games in 11 years of playing time. And whatever. There are various other high profile players that have come out, like Zion Williamson, has never done that either. So Kawhi Leonard hasn't sniffed that in years. Kevin Durant has 71 games in his rookie year. Is pretty damn good to me. And in that rookie year, one of the best rookie years we've seen of the last 25 years, of the century, of the 2000s, in 71 games, Wemby in his rookie season, 21 points per game, 10.5 rebounds, and 3.6 blocks, led the NBA in blocks as a 20-year-old rookie. Obviously, rookie of the year. Defensive, he was all-NBA defense, first team, and he finished runner-up in defensive player of the year. He would have easily run away with defensive player of the year last season if he played enough games. He didn't meet the 65 game minimum requirement threshold. He was like minus 2,000 when he had to deactivate to win defensive player of the year. That's like a 100% probability. He still led the NBA in blocks, not just blocks per game last year, but in total blocks. He led the NBA in only 46 games. He is an absolute shoo-in to be first team All-NBA defense and win the defensive player of the year this season if he can stay healthy and play enough games. And if tonight was any indication of what level his offense is at now at this point, absolutely MVP consideration. He's going to be first team All-NBA, and the Spurs are going to be a problem. If this kid, nothing else, but he has to stay healthy. If he can play in like 67 games, at least he's going to be first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense. The Spurs are going to win enough games to get in the playoffs, and Wemby will definitely garner MVP consideration. Traffic Jam, no question about that. Next in, we've got the whole, I don't know what that means. FNJT is what comes after the whole. I'm not quite sure what the handle is, but the whole FNJT. Welcome in to the Skap Lounge. Many thanks for your sponsorship here. I appreciate it. Let's get the question or comment here. Next week, MJ's topic is load management. Imagine one week we see that next week's top. Imagine one week we see that, and next week's topic is LeBron James, total social media insanity leading up to it. So, okay, yeah, maybe that's going to be the format. Maybe this is a wide-ranging interview that Mike Tirico ran with his camera crew at MJ's house that they're going to be dropping to us throughout the rest of the season. Look, like I said, we have not heard. It's compelling to hear Mike. We haven't heard him in years. It's been, he basically just vanished when he retired the third time, I should say, from the Washington Wizards. He's just not been really involved in anything basketball related outside of different ownership opportunities. But other than that, like, we don't see him. We don't hear from him other than the Last Dance docuseries, which for my money is the greatest sports documentary ever produced. And that was insanely compelling and just an amazing watch. So, other than that, like, this is like the first really insights we've gotten into MJ. So, like, I'll take it. It's better than nothing. But I think NBC's dropped the ball here. I wish Jordan would be involved in some capacity weekly. We can get trending stories, trending breaks from him or takes from him on things that are breaking around the league. I just, like, last night, if he was in studio, we could have talked about, like, Kevin Durant, like, another team. He's 37 years old. What do you think, MJ? Or, hey, look at this young, budding, dynastic team in Oklahoma City, built similarly to the Chicago Bulls. You could say, like, what do you think about that? What do you think about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Like, those are things that we could have done, like, live in studio last night or whatever. Or maybe, I'm not saying he's got to travel to the game and be on the halftime, be like on location for the halftime, but he could just go to the studio once a week or once every like a couple weeks or something like that. I don't think that would be asking too much. He wants to pay it forward, as he said in the interview. Well, Mike, pay it forward. Like, don't take just a night at your house for an interview. Let's do this thing. Like, let's get you in front of a mic live on a semi-weekly basis. Would be what I would be wanting to see from Jordan. But unfortunately, I don't think that is in the works, or that's not what NBC has been teasing us all summer with Jordan's return. Next thing, we've got Trey Fad in. Thank you, Trey Fad. Welcome into the sponsor area. Do you think Houston can run PG by committee? Well, that was not a very good debut last night at all for the Houston point guard situation. I actually sneakily liked the Houston Rockets when they got KD. I thought that Houston might win the championship, truth be told, this summer. I really liked what they were doing. I love Ime Udoka. He's arguably one of my favorite coaches in the NBA. To me, one of the best coaches, handful, like top 3, 4 coaches in the NBA, in my estimation. Love Ime. And, when they got KD, I thought it was the one missing component. Like, they struggled in the half court at times. They bogged down. They needed a go-to scorer in those moments. It was really bared out in their first round series loss to the Golden State Warriors last year. The Rockets were a 2 seed. They were the 2 seed in the Western Conference last season. And to add KD really addressed the one glaring weakness. And I thought Alfred Sengun was going to emerge to absolute stardom this season, which it looks like he has arrived after that game last night. But when Fred VanVleet tore his ACL in camp, I think they were in Hawaii or something when he did it, I thought that was crushing news. I thought at that point I moved Houston to presumptive champions down to the third best team in the West behind the Thunder and the Nuggets. But last night I took a let's watch and see approach, and Houston looked terrific. I thought last night they're huge. They beat the Thunder up on the glass. They competed defensively with the best defensive team in the NBA in the Thunder. And Alfred Sengun was the best player on the floor for either team, including SGA reigning MVP. The one glaring issue, which is going to haunt them and be incredibly problematic this year unless they address it via trade or something, is that point guard situation. They are hoping to run Amen Thompson at point. And look, the kid is an elite athlete. He's a tremendous defender, and he's a great slasher. I think he had 18 points in the amount of game that he played. He ended up leaving early in the first overtime with some kind of cramping situation or issues going on there, and he never did return. But look, they got complacent offensively. They got bogged down. They looked like a mess at times in the half court. They just were not being efficiently run in the half court at times, and they just need a floor general, and that's not going to be Amen Thompson. The other thing, as good as Thompson is at many things, and he's got size, he's 6'7", he's strong, he's athletic, but the problem with him is he is not a very good outside shooter at this stage of his career, and that's a glaring weakness for a point guard in today's NBA. For his first 2 seasons in the league, he shot really only around 1 3-pointer a game on average, and he's only a 20% three-point shooter for his career to this point, and they just left him wide open last night. He was 0 of 7 from behind the three-point line. That it's just going to be problematic, and Reed Sheppard ain't it. He's not the solution. When he came in, he wasn't hitting shots either. He was only 3 of 11 in that game last night, and he got abused and victimized, scorched by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And look, I know he's the MVP, but Sheppard could do nothing with him. He couldn't stay in front of him at all. So they're in a world of hurt. Houston is, as good as they are, as good as they look, as much as I love a lot of the pieces that they have there, they need an actual like floor general, some kind of a legitimate, pure, true point guard. And right now, unfortunately, due to the Van Vliet injury, which is season ending, that ACL, they're going to need to do something before the trade deadline arrives and make some kind of a trade or do something, I think, to address that. So to answer your question, Trey Fad, no, I don't think Houston can run point guard by committee. They need to figure that out, and they need to do it sometime, hopefully, with some time left in the season to build cohesion before the postseason begins, because this is what you saw last night is what you're going to see in the playoffs. Otherwise, they're going to be extraordinarily competitive. They're probably better than mostly every other team in the entire NBA in either conference, regardless. But when they get in a half-court, slow half-court kind of a game in the playoffs, after seeing the same team every other night for like a week and a half, and it's whatever, game 6, 7, like eventually it's going to burn them like it did last night in those, clutch situations where it just, look, Houston outplayed the Thunder, in my estimation. They were the better team, but they just couldn't close it at any level. They should have won at the end of regulation. They could have won at the end of the first. They should have won at the end of the second, and they just couldn't get it done because they just didn't have the leadership there. KD might be a dynamic half-court scorer, might be a dynamic scorer in general, one of the best the NBA's ever seen. Albert Şengün is going to be second-team All-NBA this season, I think. But neither of them can really activate or initiate the offense. I guess if it's going to be anybody, it's probably going to be Şengün. He led both teams last night in assists. They do call him Baby Jokic. So they would probably run facilitation duties through him, would be my estimation, if they do not address that point guard situation. But I think it's something they will take care of prior to the trade deadline. And hopefully for them, for their sake, it's sooner, like I said, so they get some time to gel before they get into the playoffs, because KD ain't getting any younger. I know he signed a 2-year, $90 million deal with the Houston Rockets, so that is two seasons to work with. But still, why waste one of them? He's 37 years old. So hopefully they do address that one. Houston will be dangerous if they do. Next in Vacation Wealth Partners, one of my top benefactors and sponsors. Welcome into the lounge. Thanks always for being here. My friend, I know you're here basically all of the time, and you watch all of the videos probably too. So thank you so much for your continued support. Let's see the question or comment tonight. Shocked by how absolutely garbage the Mavs were tonight. When I last checked, late fourth, they only had one player with more than 3 assists. Thoughts on Q? Well, I talked about, they were one of the first teams I talked about, but I don't mind reliving my discussion on them. I thought, look, I was extraordinarily impressed with Victor Wembanyama tonight. Hopefully you caught some of the ongoing conversation on him. I think he's first team All-NBA this year. If he plays 65 games, he's going to be first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense, and win Defensive Player of the Year, like runaway, unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. And he's going to be an MVP consideration, I think, if he plays at least 65. So I think some of tonight's outcome for, on behalf of the Mavericks had a little bit to do with San Antonio and how good they are, how great that defense could be this year behind the anchor of Victor Wembanyama. But there's no denying that some of it was also just bad Mavericks. I think it was a bad plan to run Cooper Flagg at point guard. He looks unprepared to do that at this stage of his career. Look, again, the kid, I'm not giving him a pass. I think he should easily be Rookie of the Year this year. And it did not get off to a good start in game one because not only did he look terrible tonight, he had look, the 10 points and 10 rebounds are what it is. Underwhelming shooting, 4 of 13 from the field, but an absolutely putrid minus 29 he registered in, I think, 32 minutes. So they literally got outscored by about a point per every minute that he was on the floor tonight. It's terrible. So I'm not giving him any passes, but just in reality, he is the youngest player in the NBA right now. He should be a freshman in college. He graduated high school in 3 years. So he's very young. It looks like, I still think he's going to be an upper 18, 19, 20 point per game scorer this year. I think he could find a way to that, but they need a point guard too. Speaking of point guard situations in Houston, well, Dallas has point guard situations too, because Kyrie Irving tore his ACL like Fred VanVleet has an ACL. He's out for the year. Irving will be back, but it's unsure exactly what that timeline is. I would guess maybe around Christmas. So they're going to need to find a point guard. The plan going into tonight was Cooper Flagg, and that's not going to work. I think he can still be very successful, a very successful offensive player, but he needs to be put in the situations. He needs to be put in good situations to succeed, and they just didn't do that tonight for him. They're expecting him to put everybody else in good situations, and as an 18-year-old, he's just not ready to do it. I think he still could be a dynamic defensive player this year, and a very, very serviceable and good offensive player. There will be better nights for him. Tonight wasn't one of them. Dallas as a whole looked bad. They looked discombobulated, and they looked outclassed by a San Antonio team that just might maybe be better than anybody was giving them credit for. They might be like a year or two ahead of schedule. That defense looked frightening. It wasn't just Victor Wembanyama. Stephon Castle looks like an all-NBA defensive player from the perimeter. So I just think Dallas just wasn't ready. They did not have a point guard. They've got D'Angelo Russell. I understand he doesn't fit he doesn't have the resume or fit the kind of what they want to do, what kid wants them to be defensively, but he's at least will be able to capably run an offense until Kyrie Irving comes. So I really do. I think maybe you have to insert D'Angelo Russell into the starting lineup moving forward. But not good for Dallas. I thought they were kind of a dark horse team in the Western Conference this year, and they certainly did not appear to be that on tonight. But maybe, just maybe, they played a dark horse team this year, the dark horse team in San Antonio behind, a fledgling MVP candidate in Victor Wembanyama. Next in, we've got GGT999, a regular coming back and joining us here in the lounge. Welcome in to you. Good to have you back. Rockets need to get Nembhard or Derek White. Interesting. I'm trying to think who they might be able to trade for point guard wise. I mean, the Rockets are a massive team. And I mean, Derek White, I just don't think Derek White's attainable. That would be an interesting fit. I just don't. I don't know. I'm sure they're working behind the scenes. I think they've seen enough just in night one to know that ain't going to work. It's just not a feasible plan to go with Amen Thompson as basically their only option at point, because Reed Shepherd, you're going to lose so much, I feel like, from a defensive standpoint, and they're trying to build a defensive identity there. They're arguably one of the, if not the most physical teams in the NBA, and Reed Shepherd just doesn't fit that profile. And Amen Thompson, he's not a good outside shooter. I just don't think he can effectively run an offense at this point. I mean, he's very young too. He's only like 22 or 23 himself right now. So yeah, they need to do something. They need a capable veteran in there. The Van Vliet injury just hurts them so much in so many ways. But with all of that said, they still outplayed the defending world champions, who are the undisputed hefty favorites to repeat as NBA champions this year. They outplayed the Thunder, and they should have beaten the Thunder. Now, Jalen Williams was not in that game, and both Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein fouled out. They don't play like 36 and 38 minutes for those two bigs, and the game was 58 minutes long because it went 2 overtimes. So even with lacking them and having them foul out, and Oklahoma City not even dressing Williams, who is still rehabbing the wrist surgery from the summer, he was an all-star, all-NBA third team, and all-NBA defensive second team. They didn't even have him dressed, and still the Thunder find a way to navigate that game and get a win against the second or third best team in the entire NBA. Just shows you how good the Oklahoma City Thunder are, and how kind of unbeatable they are. I got a lot of flack for saying that last year, from basically the whole year, that the Thunder were unbeatable. When I started doing these live streams in the playoffs, a lot of people were crushing me, saying, as the my Nuggets took them 7, and then the Indiana Pacers took them 7 again. People were mocking me and questioning my take on that. I think the fact that they struggled so much in the playoffs last year was an indictment on their effort and their focus and their desire to try to just crush the life out of teams. I think had they wanted to do it, they could have run through the playoffs with like 1 or 2 losses. They are that good. They had the best differential in league history, the best SRS in league history. This year, they have the shortest odds to defend since the 2017-18 Golden State Warriors. They are that good. They just have to find the desire to play with that focused level of tenacity every game, 48 minutes in the playoffs. I think teams have narrowed the gap this year. I think Denver is way better than what they were last year, and the Houston Rockets are way better than any other team in the NBA last year, in my opinion. So it's not going to be. It might be more difficult for the Thunder this year, but I think they should be considered the favorite. And I didn't see anything in last night's game that would dissuade me from thinking that, or that being my take on them this season. Speaking of the new look Denver Nuggets, they do play tomorrow night. They have not played. They're one of the few teams that have not had their opener yet. They didn't play last night. Obviously, there were only the 2 games last night. 12 games tonight, so 24 teams in action. Denver not one of them. Tomorrow night, the Denver Nuggets open their season. They are at Golden State, and they are, I believe that line is -1, so very tight. It's basically a pick 'em tomorrow night, so that's a very intriguing game. I might just have to mess around and do a third straight Skap Live After Dark. So we'll see. I think there's only, I'm trying to check here of what the other game is tomorrow night. It is an ESPN doubleheader. Oh, the Thunder are in action again tomorrow night against the Pacers, an NBA Finals rematch, which doesn't promise to be very lively. I don't think, obviously, with the injuries that Indiana had in the unfortunate, untimely injuries that they had, and then they lost some players as well. So Indiana is just not really even a close facsimile of the team that they were, that took the Thunder 7 last season. So that front part of that doubleheader on ESPN tomorrow that begins at 7:30 doesn't figure to be very good. Oklahoma City at Indiana. Somehow that line is only -7.5. I would be betting that one if I was in a market that allowed it. Actually, I am in a market that allows it right now. I might have to put a little bit of action on that one. And then the Nuggets, I'm looking for the line. Actually, that line has shifted substantially. The Nuggets, I thought, were -1 yesterday. It is Golden State -2.5 now. So the Warriors laying 2.5, an intriguing opening game there for the Nuggets, and a game 2 for the Golden State Warriors. Maybe the line shifted to that level because of how Golden State looked last night against the LA Lakers, though I don't really know exactly what would have impressed Vegas or the line setters about that annihilation of the Lakers. The Lakers look like they're an absolute mess. They're in disarray. I've got Vacation Wealth Partners is back in here. Skap, I need to get a referral code to Hard Rock Bet in Florida if you need it, my friend. LOL. So yes, I honestly, I do not bet in Florida. That's why I live in Florida. I'm like outside, a little bit outside of Tampa, like a half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. Outside Tampa is the biggest city. And look, I'm not going to lie, guys. I talk about betting lines a lot, or betting. I am a former degenerate gambler. And luckily I live in Florida, which for some reason, why don't they get with the 21st century and legalize online gambling? They haven't yet. Vacation Wealth Partners. I got my brother addicted to sports gambling a couple years ago. Yeah, I am a former degenerate. I was a hardcore gambler basically from like high school through like when I moved to Florida. So moving to Florida like 7 or 8 years ago, like rescued me from being like a degenerate gambler. But whenever I travel, I am in Pittsburgh now where I'm from, visiting my family and friends here. So, I may just have to bet on some games. We've got the NBA games tomorrow night, which are juicy lines to me, and the NFL slate on Sunday. Obviously, I could get really loose on those Sunday games. So, but Vacation Wealth Partners, to answer your question, I do not. I don't bet in Florida. So there is, like the Seminole Casino, like the Hard Rock Casino there. I think I could do something. I could download an app or something and bet there through that. But it's probably for the best that I don't. I'd be like living on the streets or something like that, drinking out of like a paper bag, a bottle in a paper bag or something. If I figured out how to work that app. So luckily, I'm not on that. But while I'm in town, though, I might as well look into it. Especially tomorrow night's games. I think the Thunder roll in that game against the Pacers, and then I'm just surprised to see the Nuggets getting 2.5. It's tempting. It's tempting. And we've got the football game on tomorrow night, Minnesota and the LA Chargers, which is also a pretty tasty little game. So just kind of perusing the slate tonight to see if there's anything else that caught my attention or my eye. Well, actually, I mentioned the Raptors as one of my dark horse teams, or the question I believe was, what's a team or teams that did not make the playoffs last year that could make the playoffs this year? Of course, I love my main man, Darko Rajakovic. Shout out to him and his Toronto Raptors. So I mentioned the Raptors as a team that I expect to take a step and to make the playoffs this year. They played the Atlanta Hawks tonight, and a lot of people were very high on the Atlanta Hawks this offseason, and they did have a great offseason, a lot of good acquisitions for them. And accordingly, many people thought the Hawks were going to be a team to watch out for this season. But Toronto went into Atlanta tonight and blew them off the court, 138-118. The Raptors were winners tonight on the road in Atlanta. And just an impressive, every player in double digits for the starting lineup of the Toronto Raptors. Of course, Scotty Barnes, who is a major element of that legendary Darko Rajakovic rant. It's a complete crap. The drop that I use all the time. Scotty Barnes was mentioned very prominently in that rant. He had 22 points tonight, 9 assists and 6 rebounds. RJ Barrett with 25. Just a very well balanced attack from there. Again, every starter in double digits. They had 2 guys off the bench in double figures tonight, so 7 guys in double figures. It was one of the best names in all of basketball, Grady Dick, with 21 points off of the bench, 6 of 10 from the field, 2 of 4 from the three-point line, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds. How about a plus 18 for Dick off the bench in only 24 minutes? Shout out to Grady Dick and that legendary outfit that he wore to the draft the one year that he was in it. So really impressive performance, I think, by the Toronto Raptors tonight in beating the Atlanta Hawks, who, again, a lot of people were expecting a lot out of this year. Trae Young tonight, not good. 22 points, only 5 assists, 5 of 14 shooting from the field, a minus 14 in 34 minutes for him. So Atlanta's got some work to do, obviously, but a lot of teams do. It is only night 1, game 1 for many of these teams. So I guess no need to slam on that panic button just yet. Guys, it's just been good getting back, reconnecting with you guys. I do appreciate you showing up for me as always. I just really ultimately love talking basketball. It was like I said, a robust night tonight, 12 games, 24 teams in all in action. And, I put out a couple of videos tonight, so make sure you check that out. I really am just anxious and really happy and enamored with the NBA in general being back. So I may be overdoing it. I don't want to burn myself out too much here, putting out too many videos or whatever, doing too many live streams. But the NBA is back, which means I am back. And I love just talking hoops. And it's fun for me that some people out there care what I'm saying about it and enjoy the messaging that I have. So, guys, it was 2 for 2. I'm going to try to keep these a little tighter, though. Last year in the postseason, I was bleeding into 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours I approached, I think, in one live stream. I'm going to try to keep these a little tighter. I want to do more live streams, connect with you guys more throughout the year. I really just enjoy doing them, but I want to keep them tight, somewhere around hopefully 60 to 90 minutes will be the goal. I'm going to kind of ease it in here. We're going to reel it in tonight. I'm going to sign off here early. It's only 1:42 on the East Coast in the US of A where I'm coming from. So it's been good talking. It was like a lightning round tonight with all of the games tonight. Only 2 for tomorrow. And I, obviously am very invested into the Denver Nuggets. Big Nikola Jokic fan. I'm expecting a lot from him and them this season. It all begins tomorrow night, where they are 2.5-point dogs on the road at the Golden State Warriors. So you guys, look, I never promise anything. I never guarantee or whatever, but chances are very likely that I will be on tomorrow night live again when the games end tomorrow night. I've been on about, I think, around 12:30 each night. These last 2. Let me see exactly when the game tips tomorrow. It is a 10 p.m. tip on ESPN. So game, figures to be over around 12:30. So, set the dials, set your alarms or whatever. Hit the notifications. I should be on sometime around 12:30 tomorrow if my voice holds up. Guys, so again, the best thing you can do, subscribe if you haven't, notifications on if you don't have them, to stay up to date with more from me until we meet again, which likely will be tomorrow night, guys. Have a great night and a great day tomorrow, and go Nuggets.